Okay, so I will say going into this episode that I'd almost forgotten why it was always one of my favorites, but yeah, it took me about 1 minute to start remembering why, because yeah, this is an example of what One Punch Man can like really do at the top of its game. And okay, part of the reason being, I mean, they start out with another sort of typical plot, villain plot, that is this mad scientist who, well, that is this scientist who was like ahead of his time, ahead of everyone in his field, but then became a mad scientist because he just went so far with, okay, what he was capable of, just got so into the possibilities that he became disillusioned with humanity itself, and only the power, only the possibilities mattered. But okay, this time they fill it out with a lot of specific details, just like what it is he was into, evolution, what caused the disillusionment, just what he was hoping for, what kind of guy he is. It's not just like with Vaccine Man where they give you the broad outline of what kind of plot this is, like something out of The Happening or whatnot. Like this time it's okay enough so that you could create a whole story, a whole season's worth of story probably out of this with this guy as the bad guy. And I mean that, like, I think that's what a lot of people miss when they say, "Oh, that's just a cliche story. I don't know why it has so much popularity." All right, because execution matters. It's okay how you fill out the story that gets people into it. I mean, I am partly a believer in the philosophy that there are no truly original stories, but I mean, like, yeah, well, at least in the broadest of outlines, no truly original story. But anyway, yep, complicated little details, ignore those. But okay, more to the point, this is probably where, if you want to avoid, like, as close as this show gets to spoilers, you should maybe step out, because okay, this is about concluding an arc, moving through an arc, and I mean, I'm kind of counting on these vlogs becoming shorter as the series goes on, so that, because yeah, I don't have to say as much about just the setup of the show, the broad details, just I can talk about the little arcs every day. And yeah, this one kicks off right after the opening monologue, which is very well played, and you're wondering, but like I said, well done, familiar story, but because it's One Punch Man, you're wondering how they're gonna show it irreverence, how they're gonna have some fun with it, and it takes about a minute, like I said, because yeah, Saitama cuts the monologue off, which it turns out is from Armored Gorilla trying to sound cool again. Like, what does this have to do with anything? Why do we need to know this to go fight the guy? Get to the point. So, okay, then, yeah. Rest of the episode, Saitama and Genos versus this mad scientist and his clones and his weapons and his pinnacle creation that even he is afraid to use. And, yeah, this, like, there's probably enough material in this episode alone for 2 episodes, but it only takes one. Like, after this episode, this scientist and his creations and everything to do with him never mentioned again, because Saitama only needs 1 episode to deal with him, both physically and thematically. And yeah, the latter, that's kind of cool, actually, that they treat it like this. But well, we'll get to why. But yeah, Saitama and Genos versus this guy. Like, okay, the first thing he does, this would normally be episode 1, infiltrating the base, overcoming the traps, discovering things, being shocked by them. They get there, Genos blows the whole thing up. It's like, it's the fastest way to take care of it, right? It's like right before they got there, this guy had been saying, like, all right, we'll set all the traps at every level. If we're lucky, maybe those will deal with these guys. Boom, blows it up. Like, yeah, don't waste our time with that crap. Let's just get to the point already, which is Saitama and Genos versus this boss that even this scientist is afraid to use. His name is Carnage Kabuto, and he, yeah, he sends clones in to retrieve him, talk to them. He starts slaughtering them for fun. He regards himself as the creation this scientist was going for, the pinnacle achievement, and the scientist regards him as a failure because he lacks humanity, which is interesting. Like, this scientist, he's not completely unlikable for all the horrible things that he is. It's almost like, I mean, I think like what people miss a lot when they say that villains are one-dimensional. I mean, there is such a thing as a one-dimensional villain, but I mean, a lot of the time, when a villain works and people feel like they have to criticize him anyway, it's like, okay, you don't necessarily need, like, all the sympathetic backstory in the world, or, like, all these, yeah, surprisingly sympathetic moment, like this once upon a time he had a good side type of moments, to know what kind of guy this is and where he's coming from, and even to be okay with him. But All right, and so, yeah, this is especially for the fact that, okay, we're never going to hear from this guy again. The fact that they put so much into him, like, that's what you love about One Punch Man. Like, they're always giving you 100%. So, okay, but Saitama and Genos versus Carnage Kabuto, who walks through Genos when he hears that he doesn't have to save him up for anything. It's just Saitama they want to study. Like, this is what Genos, this is probably one of his biggest, like, Krillin moments where he gets smashed by Carnage Kabuto and then tries to come back and fight him, just, like, shakes himself off from getting what looked like totally annihilated and deciding he's going to fight him anyway, and then getting curb stomped, like his best fire blast, Carnage Kabuto was literally able to just blow it back at him. And, you know, but that's the thing, like, as hard a time as people give Genos, I feel like he's not I don't see any signs that he's an unpopular character, and I mean, partly because he still looks cool while he's fighting this guy and getting destroyed, and, you know, they, even this fight, they put a ton into, just, like, giving you a sense of, yeah, Genos is a thinking fighter, always observing his enemy's moves, and and always trying something new when something bad doesn't, like, he's thinking, but he's also gutsy and toughing out fights that it looks like he's probably gonna lose. And, but, yeah, when Carnage Kabuto, like, blows the fire attack back at him, like, okay, that's what it takes to get it to sink in, and, yeah, then, of course, he's actually able to sense a bit of how strong Saitama really is and becomes afraid to attack him, and so goes into his Carnage mode, where he, yeah, even he can't control himself with his insatiable bloodlust and starts, yeah, tearing into Saitama, which granted we've seen before from the giant guy in the first episode, while Saitama just sits there and takes it, and, you know, okay, this time they try to play it, and, yeah, another sort of intense battle trope. The guy is massacring him, saying he's going to be on an insatiable bloodlust rampage for a week, and Saitama, who's like, I think I've made a horrible mistake, just watching in, like, wide-eyed horror as Carnage Kabuto is pounding him. He's going to be in the state for a week. And he said, today is Saturday. That means I missed bargain day at the supermarket! And as he's tearing through him with one punch, especially after all that build-up, he was saying, like, to Carnage Kabuto, don't disappoint me now, and, okay, and, yeah, the big moment, he doesn't even care about Carnage Kabuto anymore, or that he's just killed him with one punch when he realizes it's bargain day. Like, Carnage Kabuto is the monster he cares the least about killing. He acknowledges the least, and which brings me actually to one of what I guess are three, besides the fact that this whole arc is resolved in one episode, or two technically, but yeah, one of three as close to spoiler points as we're going to get here. That first being, Carnage Kabuto is already the strongest monster, pretty much, that Saitama is going to face for most of the rest of the season. And yeah, that becomes especially important with the direction we're about to go here, with Saitama and Genos actually starting to come into the public eye a little bit, and everybody's saying, okay, this is far beyond you, you have no idea the level you're dealing with, but Saitama has already accomplished something greater than anything we're going to be talking about, and yeah, he's already kind of taking care of what the threat would have been, but now will never be heard of, will never come into the public eye or anything like that. So, alright, that, and, I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the next arc, but yeah, like, keep that in mind if you haven't seen the show, but you're following me for some reason, because, yeah, that's important. But, okay, and then the second slightly spoilery thing is where Saitama reveals his training method, which is one of everyone's favorite moments with this show. Say it with me, show fans. He did for 3 years every day, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run. Yeah, he just got all that training done and over with right away, so now he's at the pinnacle of physical fitness, and, you know, what the heck, if, like, for those of you who, yeah, care nothing about exercise or how much that is, like, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 sit-ups, like, I could do that, you could probably do that, I mean, yeah, it's been, the last time I did any serious athletic stuff was back in high school, so, I mean, yeah, that's not hard, I mean, you might not feel that good every day, but, I mean, yeah, that's not hard. And the 10-kilometer run, that's, well, you're actually putting time in there. I mean, that's 6.2 miles. You do that every day, and you might just be the best runner on your high school cross-country team, so, alright, but, yeah, I mean, and that where he's just, like, announcing, alright, I'll tell you listen close. Just like, that is an excellent parody of just like the training trope that just some vague training, no matter how strong the challenge, can always eventually get you up to the level of your enemy. I mean, yeah, that is one of the show's most dead-on satirical punches, so bravo. But then the third thing, and I guess, is kind of tying into that, as close as this show probably gets to an overarching theme, that what Saitama says to this obsessive scientist, that, okay, that, yeah, these monsters, like, trying to get there by just manufacturing your way to a pinnacle achievement, like, can't be done that way. That's the thing about humans. We have the ability to change ourselves. We have the ability to reach that pinnacle point on our own, like, I guess what this scientist is looking for. And I mean, I don't know, I mean, I'm sure that, okay, the profoundness of One Punch Man is not the hardest thing in the world to dismiss, but I mean, it's like, alright, you know, that the true fulfillment, the true achievements, I mean, it starts with making sure that you have put everything into, like, honestly reaching that point of satisfaction. I'm sure you could argue, okay, well, isn't that what that scientist tried to do, putting everything into his research? But I mean, the thing he says, like, as Saitama leave, like, I mean, they don't even, like, deal with him, Saitama and Genos, after they're done here. Just Carnage Kabuto's dead, Saitama's flipping out over the sail, and Genos, like a good apprentice, said, Master, I believe there is still 4 hours left in the sail. We could still possibly catch it. And they just run away. The scientist, just like how he's resolved, he says, I don't think I'm gonna try anymore with evolution. Actually, I think I'm the one who needs to change. And it does feel just a little bit profound. It's like, okay, you know, you want to look at what can be improved. Don't point the finger at everyone else. You know, make sure that you're everything you want to be first. I mean, yeah, that's kind of, and just like, and that is not the direction you'd expect them to go with this guy, but I mean, he's not dealing with something that characters of his archetypes deal with every way. I mean, one of the most hilarious bits here, just watching this guy who's like, who really comes off as obsessive over this and determined, like talking to Carnage Kabuto saying, if you need to kill me too, you can. I have plenty of clones who can take my place. But first, I need to make a deal with you. Yeah, this guy having Saitama as his pinnacle opponent, telling him, his training method of, strength training, as this guy's listening intently, desperately wanting to find out what could create Saitama, and, yeah, like, as Saitama's freaking out, the scientist, this got an even bigger laugh out of me than, I misbargained, at the revelation that that's what he's mad about, that, Genos, like, I believe it is this, handing him a flyer, like, this obsessive scientist guy, but wanting to know what's wrong with his enemy, and being handed a supermarket flyer, just somehow about the way they, like, that is completely hilarious. Like, I mean, just the sheer, like I said, they play the story so well. I mean, I was legitimately interested in this scientist guy's story. You know, you really could make a whole season out of this, because it is that interesting, it is that fun to follow. And watching that collide with Saitama, the ultimate everyman who cares most about, like I said, supermarket shopping on Saturdays and being a hero for fun, it's, I mean, like, that is the two ingredients that do not go together, and Saitama is the side that totally has his way, because, okay, he has all this strength, you just can't stop him, and I mean, that, like, seeing, like, all of these portentous anime supervillains being forced to accept that will never not be fun, and, okay, I think that, like I said, as close as this show gets to the theme, it's like, Saitama, he is kind of the guy who has it all figured out, and in some, like I said, Tao of Pooh, idiot savant sort of way, just like all he really wants is to live his humble life and be a hero for fun and have thrilling challenges, and I mean, that can be enough. Like I said, I mean, there's, not only is it hilarious, exciting, fun, you know, you can glean just a bit of satisfying thematic profundity there. So, okay, I already forgot what the next episode is called. I mean, they're all going to be a ton of fun from here on out, don't get me wrong, but okay, yeah. Thrilling moment of the show. Yeah, I think it's a highlight. Let me know what you think in the comments section. It's pretty much all I got. Sorry if I rambled on, made this one as long as the last two, but, what can you do? I'll talk to you later, bye.